Leadership is a learned skill. Welcome to episode number 9. In today's episode, I am giving you the secret to your happiness at work. I'm going to show you exactly how you can start acting like an executive leader now. And even if you're already in an executive role, but you feel like you're not able to make that impact that you truly know you're meant to make, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that as well. So listen on.
Welcome to Maximize Your Career with Stacy Mayer, a podcast about achieving your career goals while also being yourself.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Maximize Your Career with Stacy Mayer. So in today's episode, this is really it. I am giving you the thing that is going to change everything for you. Now, I know that feels a little heavy and a big promise, but I am telling you, if you do what I am suggesting on today's episode, you're going to feel happier, you're going to have better relationships at work, and you're always going to feel like you have ownership over your career. Everything that you wish you had going, you want to come true in the future is going to happen today, just in the blink of an eye. So here it is. Are you ready? Are you sitting down? If you're driving your car, that's okay. The secret to every powerful leader's success, I don't care if you're Steve Jobs, Andrew Carnegie, Estee Lauder, all of these big names, the secret is they started somewhere. And guess what? They didn't wait until they had success to be successful. I'll say that again. They didn't wait until the circumstances of their life, whether they had money, power, influence, a title, happened to them to feel successful. They created success first, and then actual success followed. I am talking about being the executive leader now. How you can create that success for yourself right now. Even if it's just an idea in your mind, even if it's just the way that you show up to work differently, even if it's just the way you handle conflicts at work, whatever it is, you have within your power the ability to actually act like an executive leader now. And I am going to show you how you can do that. But first, let's talk for a minute about why you feel, or you may feel, like you can't act like an executive now. These are just a few of the common excuses or objections I hear when I encourage managers to show up in a bigger way at work. One of the things they'll say is, I don't want to step on anyone's toes. Great. Don't step on anyone's toes. That doesn't mean that you can't act like an executive leader now. Or maybe you're somebody who doesn't have any actual authority, that you feel like nobody's actually going to listen to you because you don't have a title or a seat at the table. And to that, I say, so what? That doesn't mean that you can't act like an executive leader now. And I'm going to show you with these 3 easy steps exactly how, no matter what level of authority and influence you already have at work, exactly how you can start doing that today. Or another excuse that I hear is, I'm too busy. Yes, you are too busy, and that is part of the problem. So if you haven't listened to it yet, go back to episode number 2. I talked about how to stop doing what you are good at. If you prioritize letting go of doing all the things that you really shouldn't be doing, you will have more time and more freedom to begin focusing on what actually matters. These are just a few of the thoughts that could be standing in your way. But why is it so important to act like an executive leader now, before you actually get the job? And one of the big reasons is it teaches you how to do the job that you aspire to do ahead of time. Now, here's what I mean. Some of you will get lucky and you might get promoted anyway. You will not do any of the things that I teach you on this podcast. You will not have a clear vision statement. You won't have mentors or sponsors. You won't be soliciting feedback. You won't be thinking strategically. You won't know how to inspire or coach your team. But guess what? You'll get promoted anyway. Why? Why does that happen? Well, it could be because you have a great boss that believes in your potential versus your current state. It could be because you work for a startup and they don't have anyone else to do the job. It could be because you're really great at your job. You produce great results and you actually get rewarded for those results. But here is the downside. So let's say you do get the job, but you haven't been practicing along the way. Now what happens? You're winging it. You don't know how to coach your team. So instead, what do? You actually do the work for them. You get busy. You're overworked. You start to feel stressed. You don't have relationships with the executive team, so you're constantly having to explain yourself to them. Every time you present at staff meetings, your ideas get pushed to the side. Nobody knows what you're working on or why they should care, so they give you 10 minutes of the staff meeting to present and you always feel rushed, and worse yet, you run out of time because the meeting ends before you can speak. It was a little bit of a run-on sentence, but it's a real story, and I'm going to tell you more about that here in a minute. But HR and L&D departments spend thousands and thousands of dollars on getting managers to actually be good at their job every single year. What can we do with our leaders? They have two different programs. They have their high potentials. How can we inspire them to reach for more and to do more? And then they have this other secondary program that they spend way more money in, is how do we actually get our executives to act like executives? Why is that? Because they are never actually given the skills ahead of time to know what it's truly going to take to be a leader. Leadership is different than managing people. I give you those skills ahead of time. That is what this podcast is all about. But I don't want you to worry. If you have already been promoted, then I can get you to that leadership level too. Now, I'm about to give you 3 simple things that you can implement right away so you can start acting like an executive now. But let me go back and share that story with you. You know, the person who would get pushed to the end of the board meetings and then maybe get skipped over at the end, and then nobody really cared what she had to say. Let me tell you about her. So she is a private coaching client who is a vice president. And she is really, 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 really great at her job. She has tons of respect, but she reached out to me last year because she was not feeling like she could make the impact that she wanted to make. She didn't feel like she had a seat at the table. She was being pushed aside in the executive meetings, and her brilliant ideas were being saved for the last 10 minutes of the meeting. And sometimes they wouldn't even get to her. So she was feeling frustrated and stuck, and she reached out to me. Her goal for our 6-month coaching was not to get a promotion. She already had the title that she wanted, but her goal was to be recognized by the executive team. So what did we work on in the first 2 months? We figured out all of the ways that she was not actually acting like an executive, and we fixed that first. Once she figured out where she wasn't acting like a vice president, she could fix it. She started actually doing her job. And you know what? The CEO took notice. She recognized that she was showing up more as a strategic leader. The CEO started asking her what she was doing differently. And you know what my client said? She said, "Thank you very much. I hired a coach." She hired a coach. See, that's another thing that executives do. They have executive coaches. Do you think Michael Phelps won 23 gold medals by himself? No, he had a great coach. And if the company doesn't support the executive to get a coach, they go out and they find it and they invest in themselves, just like my client did. Because she knew that that investment would pay back 10 times. So she invested in the coaching herself. But now here's the really fun part. Because her CEO was so impressed with her initiative and the change that she was already seeing just after 2 months of coaching, she offered to reimburse my client for her coaching investment. And now they wouldn't even consider pushing my client to the end of staff meetings because her input is too valuable. She has too much to offer. They ask her to go first. And how did she do it? She started acting like an executive leader now. And you can do that too. Now, it's also possible that you feel like the C-suite is really, really, really far away from you now. But I know you. I know that you are so capable of handling that role and that you could really knock it out of the park. It just feels scary. And that's just because you've never done it before. Everything that is new, everything that is different feels scary at first. One of my mentors and role models is Marie Forleo. She is the founder of B School, an online marketing training platform for entrepreneurs. And she also has a best-selling book called Everything is Figure Outable. Super fun and inspiring. So I was listening to an interview with her last week, and one of the things that she said really stood out to me. She said, "You wouldn't have the dream in your heart if you didn't already have what it takes to make it happen." And that's what I'm talking about here. This is so, so true. I am going to give you 3 ways that you can, in fact, make your dream happen now. And even if you aren't looking to get into the C-suite in 2020, you will be happier. You will start making a bigger impact. And you might actually get the kudos and the recognition you deserve just by doing these 3 simple steps. Step number 1, how to act like an executive leader now? Dress the part. Now, I don't just mean clothes, which are important, of course, but also check in with your body language. How do you show up in meetings? Are you head down? Do you sit in the back? Are your arms folded? Are you a note taker? Want to know how to get someone to listen to what you have to say? Body language. Scientific research shows that the key factor to whether or not somebody thinks, they just think, they believe that you're confident and they actually listen to what you have to say, is body language. In fact, it's 55% body language, 38% tone of voice, and only 7% what you actually say. So prioritize body language and you will already start being seen as the executive leader now. The second step is speaking strategically now. When you offer a suggestion, are you tying it back into the bigger vision? Do you even know what the bigger vision is, or are you speaking about tasks all the time? Many managers fall into this trap when they have one-on-ones with their boss. They think that their boss just wants a quick update on what they're doing that week. But guess what? They don't. They don't always just want a quick update. That's something that you created. It's part of the relationship that you have with this person. I have a client that put together this huge document outlining every little thing that her team was working on. She walked into her meeting with her boss, and normally she just tells him what she's working on. She just goes through the list of tasks. But because she had put together this document, she started to think about how it tied into the bigger vision, how it works strategically with where they were headed. And so instead of just walking into her boss's office for their weekly one-on-one and talking about her tasks, this week, she started with that vision. She started with why they are doing the work that they are doing. And then she went to show him this gigantic document that she had made. But guess what? He wanted nothing to do with it. He simply said, "I trust you," and moved on to the next item. That's it. Trust. You must trust your executive leaders. So start building that trust now. And it feels so good to be trusted. To know that you can handle the job, you start to trust yourself. It feels great, as a matter of fact. It's amazing. And all you need to do is tie it back into the bigger vision. And last but not least, align yourself with the right people. I talk about this in length with building your own personal board of directors in episode number 5. But this idea, this concept is so key. And don't wait until you are in an executive role to get a mentor, to expand your network, to hire a coach. This podcast has already taught me and brought so many amazing leaders back into my life. And I realize that as I've been connecting at this bigger level and with incredible leaders that I've known in previous roles that have been connected on LinkedIn, but I haven't actually talked to them in many, many years. Because of the podcast, I'm reaching out to them on this different level. And I had this idea the other day. It occurred to me that there is literally no reason that I couldn't have reached out to them sooner. But I waited for the excuse of having a podcast. I beg you, do not make that same mistake. Go in and make those connections now. They do matter. And if you need an excuse, a reason to reach out to someone, come up with a reason. You can make it up. You can say, oh, I'm working on this project and it made me think of you. Or I saw that you posted an update. Congratulations on your new job. That reminds me, we should have lunch sometime. You will not regret it. For sure. This is so key, so important. So you want to know how you can start acting like an executive leader now? That is it. Work on your body language, start speaking strategically, and prioritize your network, mentors, sponsors, your coach, whoever you need to help you start to feel and act like you are the executive. You will feel better, you will be happier, and you will start making a bigger impact at work today. Before you go, I want to tell you about my one-on-one coaching program. If you've been listening to my episodes and you're feeling like you want to take this work one step deeper, then I invite you to sign up for a free discovery call with me to see if coaching would be a good fit for you. In this call, we're going to get crystal clear on your leadership goals and exactly what steps it will take to get you to that next leadership level. If this sounds like you and something that you're interested in doing, go to stacymayer.com/apply and sign up today. That's STACYMAYER.com/apply. See you there.